Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, NEZNATION Live. I am so happy that you are here with us. I cannot be more excited about who I have on the show. If you don't know who he is, I'm going to introduce him right now. This is going to be such a killer show. You're going to learn a lot about live video. We're going to talk about Summit Live. We're going to talk about a lot of great things. Welcome, welcome. If you would, please, I want to put a few parameters out there. We're going to be talking a lot about live video. I'm going to introduce Ross. I'm going to do a little bit of sharing. And then if you have comments, please leave the comments. If you have questions for Ross or myself, Professor Nez, please leave those comments. I'm going to be watching the comments on another device. So welcome to the show, and I cannot be more excited. Let me go ahead. Let's get right into it. I cannot tell you how excited I am. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you an individual who has been in the live streaming space for a very long time. He has a weekly show called Livestream Universe, where he talks about updates and he summarizes. If you have any questions, Facebook is getting very, very congested with live video. Live video is the thing right now, and he is definitely a practitioner. If you want to find out what there is to watch, you got to check out Ross Brand. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ross Brand. Thank you for coming by, Ross.
Oh, thank you for that introduction. First of all, congratulations on your show. I mean, your show's taking off. 2,000 plus views yesterday. I mean, come on, who gets that early on in doing a live stream show?
I am so blown away by it, and thank you, Ross. And I want to just tell the audience really quickly before you go into who you are, and I want Ross to introduce himself because he can do it a lot better than me. I, have learned so much from people like Ross and Joel and others in this space, and it has inspired me. Ross has been a huge inspiration to me. He has taught, educated, informed, and you couldn't find a nicer guy than Ross Brand. He's responded to a lot of my messages. He didn't really know who I was, obviously. I barely know who I am. And
who are you?
Who am I? I have no idea, Ross. Let's find out. And he has just been such an inspiration, always willing to listen, always willing to answer my questions. So, Ross, please take a few minutes. Tell us a little bit about yourself, whatever you would like to say about who you are, what you're doing, how you're a practitioner in the live video space, and go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to go ahead, NEZNATION, and I'm going to share this out while Ross tells us a little bit more about us that I left out in that intro. Ross Brand.
Oh, thank you for that nice intro. I'm not sure that the real story can live up to that, but we'll try. So, as you know, I have a background in radio. I worked professionally on air for about a decade, a little more than that. And then I was doing other stuff, and I found Blab in late 2015 and just kind of fell in love with broadcasting again and started really promoting what other people were doing. I didn't even think about, like, getting on camera or anything. I really didn't use the webcam or anything.
Yeah.
In fact, I just got a new external webcam, so my video's coming along. The audio side I was more comfortable with, obviously, and so I love Blab because it was like talk shows, right? It was pretty much doing talk radio, except you had these little webcams. So anyway, I've stuck with it, and what we do with Livestream Universe is 3 times a week we do updates talking about the shows that are going on, as well as any, major news related to live streaming. And I originally did it pre-recorded and posted it. But one day, a couple weeks ago, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, I don't know, I just simply didn't have time to do everything that I would do in pre-recording it. So I did it live, and it was a blast. So ever since then, if I can, now tomorrow I have to be traveling, so I'm probably going to pre-record it. But it's fun doing it live. It's not that different than it is pre-recorded, except that the time you have to sort of introduce what you're going to do and then to stay on and chat with people if they want to stay on and chat for a little bit afterwards is a lot of fun. So that's kind of what I do 3 times a week. And then I do interview shows every Monday night as Livestream Stars. And then I have a few monthly shows, Livestream News and Ask the Expert. And I typically do those, not always, but typically on Thursday nights. And then I was doing Livestream Sports for a while, but isn't a lot of live streaming, let's say, people in the community of live streamers who are live streaming sports, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I got to be a little more getting out there and finding and meeting new people who do that, who are live streaming their college games or pro games or whatever it is they're doing, how they're using it to cover maybe a niche sport or something like that.
Right.
I would love to kind of revive that, but that's kind of been a little bit more on the back burner. But like I say, Livestream Stars is every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then typically a couple of Thursday nights, 2-3 Thursday nights, we do shows, either another edition of Livestream Stars or Ask the Expert or Livestream News. So that's kind of what Livestream Universe is all about.
I think you topped my introduction, that's for sure, Ross. I think you did it. It's funny, I was talking to, and I want to welcome Brad and I want to welcome Gord to the show. Thank you for watching. Please, if you have a chance, share this out. We would really appreciate that. I was talking to, Gord was actually on my show a couple episodes back, and I was telling him about you. I've got Ross that's coming on the show. And here's how I sort of metaphorically, I likened you to sort of like the, not that I have a preference, but I said CNN. He's kind of like the CNN for live streaming. He's giving information. Or maybe the TV guide. Maybe that's even better. I just thought about that. Maybe the TV guide for live streaming. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Ross? I mean, this is fairly a new thing where you're seeing more and more people are going live, and more people have different objectives and different purposes, but it's becoming more and more saturated with live video. My news feed, I don't know about you, Ross, and please disagree with me, because Ross knows a lot more about this, NEZNATION, than I do. I am just a beginner, not an expert by any means. I absolutely just love it, and it really is great for what I want to do. What are your thoughts on that, Ross, on the fact that this thing is gaining so much steam, and your value coming in, actually promoting, actually informing audiences on what's a show that's going live regularly, that's regularly scheduled programming, if you will, which is even funny to say that in a social media context. What's your thoughts on live video it's just getting so much more popular, and do you see it? And where do you see that ending? Do you see it ending? And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, wow, there's a lot to tackle there.
Yeah.
Let's start with the basics. What you said about your Facebook news feed.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, at the end of 2016, Facebook sent me everybody, not just me. Not like I'm special. They sent it to everybody, right? And it shows the friends from that year, right? You've had a busy year.
Yeah, I've had that. Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. Right.
Yeah.
And I looked at the picture that they had at the end. I kind of screenshotted the picture with all the friends, and I tried to find somebody that I didn't meet through live streaming. And it was really hard. I'm not even sure if I did or not. Wow. In fact, most of them came through Blab in the first half of the year.
Yeah.
Or through live streaming in general. And so that right there, that speaks to, how active people are who are in the live streaming community and how eager they are to connect with people and stuff like that. So my newsfeed is entirely different than it used to be. And it's like almost all related to live streaming, and I enjoy it, and it's like a whole new community to be a part of. Now, where's it going, right? So yeah. I think, as more people get into it, and we're still so early in the game. We're still so early.
That's the ticket.
I think, yeah. I mean, I think when we talk about it like it's all one thing, right? And like many things, it all might fit under the same umbrella, but there are people doing talk shows like what you're doing and what I'm doing, right? And more formal broadcast stuff. And then there are people doing cell phone videos, and there are people doing everything in between. And I think as it reaches more mass adoption, I don't know what level it's going to get to in the next couple of years, but whatever, I think most people are going to be doing cell phone videos, right?
Yeah.
As the numbers expand, it's going to be more people grabbing it. And instead of posting an image or a recorded video on Facebook, they're going to go live and they're going to share a moment in their life, a kid's birthday, a moment at a sporting event, concert, things like that, right? And then there's going to be people on another level who are doing more produced stuff, and I think some of that stuff is going to get more and more polished and start looking more and more like TV, right? With lower thirds and graphics and and all that. And you see that even with a platform like Be Live TV, which now gives people going to Facebook the opportunity to do that. You can do that with OBS and Wirecast and things like that. So I think there's going to be kind of very different genres within it, and it's going to pull further apart. Now, some of the people doing more produced stuff, right, and more polished stuff may get opportunities either to turn their show into a TV show or may be able to get sponsored advertising and different things and kind of take it even to the next level professionally, right?
Right.
And then there's going to be people who are with a cell phone, right? And they do ridiculously silly stuff or stuff that just is irresistible and, may have no greater value other than to entertain, which is much of what's what we're all about in traditional media too, right? It has to be interesting and entertaining and captivating. Mm-hmm. So there will always be people who can just take this device and do unpolished stuff, and a few of them will rise to the top too and make a lot of money off of doing that. But I think the real mystery kind of comes in is what are the people in the middle, right? Who aren't streaming this, just to say hi and BS with friends in a chat room or, live on Facebook or just show a moment in time that's special, but aren't producing things in a studio and have fancy, a television production, just streaming it out to Facebook Live. What are those of us who are doing talk shows and reports and people who maybe do webinars that are live or different, people use it for business functions. What exactly is going to become of them? And that is sort of the interesting thing. What direction do they go? Do they become more polished and professionalized? Do they become more raw and real? Is there a place for both? All that kind of stuff. So after all that 15 minutes of babbling, the answer is who the heck knows?
Who the heck knows? Yeah, and if I'm understanding you, I mean, really, it's not necessarily contingent upon production value. It's not contingent upon it being produced and with lighting and camera and audio. If the devices, the technology that we have right now really is an equalizer, isn't it? It's almost like, you can do everything pretty much from your phone. Now, yes, maybe the audio won't be crystal clear or sharp, or maybe the video may not be. Well, actually, it's funny. I mean, the cameras that are in the phones and smartphones now are just as good, if not, better than most of the, other devices that you can order or enhance your production with. And by having that kind of sense of equalization, it seems like the truth is, which I tell my students all the time, doesn't matter what I talked about this with Avery Ratz too. It doesn't matter all the bells and whistles. You got to produce good shit, right, Ross? It's got to be high quality, no matter what it is. Whether it's comedy, no matter what context, right, no matter what genre. Whether it's comedy, whether it's a podcast, whether it's an interview show, whether it's it's got to be appealing to an audience and knowing your expectations. So I love what you're saying there, Ross, and I love what you're doing. Now, I know that you went to Summit Live recently, and you were actually a speaker at Summit Live. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. How was that experience, and what are some takeaways, and what types of information did you get, or what kind of value did you get from Summit Live that you care to share with the NEZNATION audience?
Well, I mean, the coolest thing was just the people. I mean, the people that, you know, I've been communicating with for the past year or so, online, through live streams. Some of them have been on my show, some of them I've been on their show, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And just to meet them in person, be able to hang out with them. I mean, this is kind of what we're doing here, is like basically as close to meeting somebody in person as you can get, right?
It's insane.
So it's really an amazing connection that you have when we just take the cameras away and we're in the same physical location and we're chatting and stuff like that. So that was just amazing. And I couldn't list all the people, you know, during the time of this show that I was just thrilled to see, and, you know, going out to lunch, going out to dinner with people, talking in between sessions, visiting different, you know, the vendors, exhibitors and stuff like that. There's just a lot of stuff that went on outside the speeches
the
and
presentations,
the
right?
stuff.
Yeah.
Right. That was just so wonderful. It was just so great to be with these people in person and see what other people are doing and hear what they're doing and just talk. You know, funny thing, we're all live streamers, but it's like, I didn't want to grab a phone and start doing something. I wanted to actually talk to the person just one-on-one.
Right.
You know, right?
What a new concept. Actually talk to a human being? Are you out of your mind, Ross? What's wrong with you?
Exactly. I didn't have a microphone with me. You know, what am I going to do, right?
Yeah,
and you have a headset.
Yeah, and a headset. And you were actually doing a lot of correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe it was on Instagram, I can't remember, but you were doing a lot more mobile stuff, whereas Ross, obviously, with your background and with your purpose and your objective, you know, he does his Livestream Universe show, which is fantastic, and he uses professional equipment for that, or at least upgraded equipment. I don't know if you want to call it professional. I would. But you were doing a lot of mobile recently, weren't you? In the last couple of months, I noticed. I can't remember if it was on Twitter
I
or
started.
Yeah.
You know what? Most people start with mobile, right?
Yeah.
And then they move to the desktop. I started with desktop. I started with Blab, and pretty much never moved to mobile. And so a couple months ago, or the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, I got to start doing more mobile live streams. I mean, this is what I really enjoy, the desktop and the whole pace of this and all that. But it's been fun going on, and it's like fun now just jumping on other people when they're streaming and stuff like that. Like, hey, you know, you just hop in the frame and start chatting and stuff like that. So we had a few things like that going on at Summit Live and leading up to Summit Live, and you know, it's like it's a different skill set, and so it's like, okay, let's be ready, because there's times where you can't have a setup. All you guys, your phone
Absolutely.
with you, and there's something worth capturing or worth talking about, and in that moment, it doesn't matter. Just get on air, do it. You know, talk about whatever.
Don't overthink it.
And
I always say, don't overthink it.
Exactly, and I do think that a lot of people who maybe only going live on their phone or started going live on their phone would be wise to kind of do some desktop stuff early on, because I think you pick up some good habits from doing this that you really don't think about with the phone, in terms of, you know, how you structure what you're going to talk about, and more that show style of doing things, which I enjoy. I also love when people just go live and bring you something in the moment.
Yeah.
But the problem is sometimes when people make the transition and they're still thinking about, like, they're just on a mobile phone and they're trying to host a show or present something, and it doesn't have quite the same, I don't know, the same communication ability as if they spent a little more time focused on desktop. So I do think that there's a lot of value in going live from both. And like I say, we talk about them as they're both the same thing, but they're kind of different, you know, and they have different purposes. And
you know, it's totally different purposes. I couldn't agree more. I just love going live from desktop. I love that I'm a big believer in environments and creating an environment where you feel safe and comfortable and more in your element, and you can kind of deliver. And it's so interesting because Facebook just recently, not that long ago, allowed for you to go live. They've initiated a rollout so you can go live from your desktop. It was so funny. I mean, I saw a lot of people in some of the groups, Ross. And by the way, thank you, Alfredo. Thank you, Alfredo, for sharing. Good to see you, Steve and Michael. Very good to see you guys. Thank you for joining us. It was like, when is this going to happen? Like, it's about time. They finally you can go live. But it's so funny. So many people discovered all these different platforms and all these different encoders, right? And these third-party softwares that you could go live from your desktop. And I don't even, it's so funny. I don't even go live straight from Facebook on the desktop. I'm using Zoom right now. Not an affiliate, but Zoom. If you want to hook up, give me a call. It's interesting. There's so many more opportunities now. There's so many options now. And I tell all my students, you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be, somebody who's highly technical. You just have to have a voice. You have to have a voice. You have to have an ability to communicate that message, whatever that message is. Communicate that message, and don't worry about having followers or likes or anything like that. I mean, I've been doing this since pretty much the end of 2015, Ross. I know you've been doing this a lot longer. I'm so grateful that you're on the show. But, for me, it just really, it's not, I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think live streaming is for everybody. It totally complements my personality. It complements my purpose. So for people that don't know who are watching right now, Nez Nation, I'd love for Ross to talk about this. What would be the best reason to get into live video if you haven't done it, or if you're a little trepidatious, if you're not sure if this is something for you, but you got an inkling, like a little whisper in your ear saying, hey, this is kind of cool.
Right.
What would you say to people like that? There's a lot of people who are watching right now. I can think of just a few right now who are watching who don't do this regularly and probably have never even gone live. What would you say to those newbies?
If you're having a good time without doing it, and your business is successful and your social life is full, you don't have to do this.
Right.
I mean, this isn't something that everybody needs to do, and I wouldn't advise every business to do it.
Right.
But if you enjoy communicating in this fashion, if you are good at it, I think you can connect with people and either move a social relationship along faster, or a business relationship, or get a client, or get a job, or sell something, or whatever. You can sort of leapfrog over the long process that it takes through just social media,
right,
or other ways of building your brand and getting your name out there and getting your company out there and stuff like that. So, and I think like people like us are doing it primarily because we enjoy it. And then if there's, like you said with Zoom, right? Like if somebody wants to sponsor your show, great, but
open.
You're not going to stop doing it.
No.
You're doing it because you enjoy it first. And then like, okay, well, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time and there's some expense involved. Right. So, if we can make some money in the process, that's nice. But I think it can be beneficial for people. And you saw like in the early days, I don't know, the early days. Listen, I haven't been streaming as long as you're giving me credit for. I did my first show late in November of 2015. So I haven't been at live streaming as long. But I did, like I said, I did have
a radio
more
background,
than a
right?
decade in radio.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The broadcasting side is familiar to me. But,
right.
I think a lot of businesses could benefit. There's ways they can use it. And a lot of people, I think, would find that they have a great time doing it and whatever. But not every business, they've got to look at their circumstance. They've got to look at where their resources and their time is and everything else. I think people who sell that, all you got to do is go live and that's the cure all to every problem, and every business and every person should do it, are not probably giving people the best advice, right?
Right.
And then there are people saying like, this is never going to amount to anything. It's a waste of time.
A lot of
people
detractors.
just talking to each other.
Yeah.
And of course that's nonsense too, because there are people who have, basically built their business through live streaming, or open new markets that they couldn't physically get to, or, raised awareness for their business, or, excuse me, found collaborators for things. So, I take a moderate view of it, right? I mean, I think for some people, this is a great experience and it can make a big difference. And for other people, they probably have better ways to use their time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think, and Gord's got a really interesting question. Gord, I want to get to your question in just a second. I personally believe, and I'd love to hear Ross's thoughts on this. You can't be good at anything really if you're not into it. And I don't want to use the word love, even though I do believe that love's been kind of an abused, a skewered word through the ages here and through the years. But and passion too. I mean, passion's kind of been over abused. But I think if you're just doing it solely for, and this is what I wanted to really talk to Ross about, because the reason I think we're seeing all this congestion and a lot more saturation is because people's expectations that when they do this, I'm going to be famous, I'm going to make a lot of money, right? I mean, you hear a lot of influencers talk. I don't even like using that word, influencer. But I mean, you hear a lot of people who've been in this space or who have leveraged audiences talk about, you see these people on Instagram, hey, become a millionaire, follow me, you see these people, hey, follow my advice for leveraging social media or online market, digital. You want to make $1,000 a week. You're hearing these get rich quick schemes, these get fame quick schemes. And I love what you said, Ross. It's like, look, this isn't for everybody, and your expectations have got to be realistic. And, I tell my students all the time, you have to understand what it is that you want to do. And if you don't like doing it and you're doing it, and I think that's really a broad kind of macro look, whatever that is, if your parents say be a dentist and you just go through the motions. I've got a couple students right now at the university who we have a lot of interesting conversations. They're pharmacy majors. They want to all become pharmacists. And when I pose questions, how did you get into this? Or why do you want to do this and not something else? And we get even deeper and deeper. Are you doing this just because of your parents? Are you doing this just for the money? And
right.
What's funny, Russ, is, and I love to do this because I loved it when people I worked with and people I worked under and people who were teachers of mine, professors of mine, inspired me this way. A lot of them never even thought about why they were doing it. And it's so interesting what you say is it's not for everybody. If you want to sell something, if you want to leverage, the audience for your business, if you want to, I think even political causes, I mean, even though I'm not really into that, a lot of people are doing it for creating just a sort of talking head intellectual movement, if you will. It's just a beautiful medium to do that. And I wonder if you would agree with me, Ross. The cream will always rise to the top, right? The high quality broadcasts, and whether it's silly or stupid, because I'm a big fan of silly or stupid. Just ask my wife.
Right.
The silly and stupid. I mean, what's funny, Ross, and so glad that I can talk to you about this. And Gord's like sitting on ice right now. Get to my question. I hear you, right. Gord. I did this show for the sole purpose, because I do my Mindset Live show on YouTube, which is all about my experience of what I went through with depression, anxiety, and the psychological torture of the mind. Very serious in nature, right? Obviously. I mean, that's not really lighthearted. I wanted to do this show to just have a kick-ass time doing what I love to do, which is live stream. And it's so funny. This show has turned out to be, not only have I gotten, way more engagement and way more comments and shares and things of that nature, but it's actually turned out that every show has been highly educational and in some instances so helpful and serious that it took on this ironic thing, I mean, it's so funny. I joked, and I know you remember this, Ross. I want to be the Jay Leno of Facebook Live, not because I'm narcissistic, but because I truly believe that I'm good at what I do. I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at engaging with people. I think I just love to do it. And when you love to do it, you're going to be good at it. There's a lot of stuff that I'm bad at, right? Just ask my wife again. My wife will vouch for that. There's a lot of stuff that Professor Nez is.
Sounds like your wife doesn't really like you.
Now that I think about it, honey, I'm moving. No, I'm kidding. So, I mean, it's like, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I just want to make sure that this doesn't come off as an ego thing, because there is a lot of stuff that Professor Nez is bad at. But when it comes to this, I truly feel, because I'm so into it, that, it's such a dream of mine. And actually, this has given me an opportunity to realize something about what I want to do, and I'm hoping to actually, yes, monetize this and make this a full-time thing. I'm not even thinking about that now because I'm a small pea in a giant ocean, but the possibilities are there. Ross, do you mind if we look at Gord's question here? With YouTube videos,
Sure.
With YouTube videos, they often need to be polished or viewers are gone in under 10 seconds. In contrast, live telecasts are not as prepared and polished and maybe a little slower. How do you keep live telecasts engaging? Interesting question. What are your thoughts, Ross?
You don't have a lot of dead air, just like in radio, right?
Yeah.
You keep it moving.
Yeah.
You have something that's coming up. You
Right.
have something, and when you need to fill, you have something. You do a little recap. You keep people interested. We're talking about Summit Live, and then later we're going to talk about the future of live streaming and so forth. If I'm not interested in Summit Live, I know something coming up later that I may be interested in. Or if I'm interested in Summit Live and I heard enough about it, oh, wait, I can't miss the future of live streaming. So
Right.
in some way, if you're doing a more of a talk show thing, I think you have to think in terms of maybe 3 segments. And even though
Right.
you don't go to commercials,
Right.
you have a general idea of 3 topics, right?
Right.
I don't list questions or anything like that. I do it right all, off the top of my head.
So do I. Do I. Actually, Gord made fun of me. Gord's like, you need to be more structured because you just got rambling. You're not able to get to everything. I'm the least structured person. It's so funny. Ask my students. You know, I don't even. If I didn't have to even put a syllabus, pass out a syllabus, I wouldn't, because I just love. I feel like here's my thesis on this, Ross. If you know your shit and you know it well, and you stick within what you do and what you know, and you stick within your arena, then there's always room, there's always material. Does that make sense, Ross?
I think so. And if you're doing an interview, because I'm just thinking about what I do, and most of my shows are interview
please.
shows, right?
Yes, please.
And you're doing interviews as well. And that, while I say I come in with 3 general things, right? We're going to talk about A, B, and C, and that'll kind of be the hour or whatever, right?
Right.
If things are rolling along, to address Gord's question, if you're rolling along on A, just leave the path open that it'll go where it goes, right? Because oftentimes the most interesting questions will come from what the person just said, rather than what you thought you wanted to talk about. So you have a loose game plan, and then you just adapt and you go with it. And so if you only get the topic A and it's an hour that everybody enjoys, okay, you can always have that guest on and do topic B another time, or just say, hey, we entertained people, they had a great time. But Beautiful. I think in order to keep interest, it's important to engage the chat, to bring in questions. It's impossible for any of us to know everything about our guest or topic or whatever. So it's beautiful to have a live audience and be able to bring in questions. People will know more about the subject or know more about one aspect of it, or, there'll be friends of yours or friends of mine in the chat who will share some story or some piece of information that you or I couldn't possibly know about the other one. So all that helps move the show along and keep it moving. But it's all about the conversation and the discussion. If it's interesting to people, they'll stay tuned. Not every topic is going to be of interest to everybody, right?
Of course.
You can't. So, and you're never going to have a huge audience. I mean, maybe one day down the line, right? But at this point, it's never going to be.
Never say never, Ross.
Like what? Right. Except for Professor Nez.
Except for Professor Nez. I want the whole world. I want all 8 billion
organic views, right? One of his first shows.
I'm the exception. No, I'm kidding.
but to be serious, right? Like, I don't think on all the shows that I've done, and I've done a lot of broadcasts, I probably had as many people as I had in like one afternoon drive, 3-minute sportscast that were listening, right? When I was in radio.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, let's be realistic about where this is. You're not doing it. The idea you're not going to walk out in the street tomorrow and be world famous. And believe me, you're not famous if you're in a radio studio, because nobody knows what you look like anyway. And,
who is this?
And only your friend's grandparents are still listening to talk radio anyway. So
Exactly.
Occasionally. When you meet your friend's grandparents, they're like, "Oh, okay, I know you."
Yeah. Oh, you're that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is years ago, so
Right. Right.
But my point is that it's the relationships that you build through this, the relationships that you have with the audience, the relationships with the people in the chat and stuff like that, the ability to share it to other social networks, to know people who are listening and be able to communicate with them directly. And I mean, after this show, the next time we talk online, offline, whatever, it's going to be a whole different experience. If you were a guest on like a TV or radio show, you get whisked in, it's 10 minutes, your segment's over, you're out, and, whatever. The idea of following up with you probably, right.
Yeah.
So that's what's special about this, and that's why I think a lot of people love it, is because on one hand, it's a form of broadcasting. On the other hand, it's social. And you even bring a little bit of tech in, and so it combines those three areas. And if you only have one of those things, but not at least two of them and possibly three of them, then you're probably not going to go as far as you could go with it, right? Because if you only look at it as social media and you don't think that it's a form of broadcasting, then you're going to lack something in how you deliver your message and what you're doing. If you only think of it as broadcasting and you don't recognize that there's a chat and there's a live audience and that you need to be thinking in terms of the social media platforms where you're delivering it, then again, you may well be very good at broadcasting, but you're just broadcasting out. You're not connecting, communicating, and whatever. And if you at least don't know enough about tech to have the basic tools that you need, then at some point you're going to limit yourself. And if you want to go and do more sophisticated, obviously you have to learn a little bit about how to use whatever it is, whether it's just a laptop and a microphone and headphones and a webcam, or it's, software like OBS or Wirecast, or it's, even external cameras and bringing in more production and graphics and all that. So it's all those things put together, and certainly you don't have to do them all to be good at it, but you can't simply ignore one of the three things and think, okay, you're going to be really good at this, right?
Absolutely. And it's so interesting, Ross, because talking about radio and it's like podcasting, I actually think doing a talk show format like this, where it's not, you don't have the kind of, I don't want to say luxury, but you have that sort of aspect of television and radio where you do break for commercials, you have chances to regroup, you're not high pressured to keep it rolling every single second, right? And not experience that dead air, as you say. It's almost like, with some of these companies like a YouTube and like a Facebook, who are really kind of gravitating and sort of dominating or at least increasing in scope and climbing onto cable's territory, right? Podcasting, I mean, it's unbelievable how podcasting is like I think killing radio. I mean, it's so instantaneous. There's no commercials. It's all content. You can download it. You can pause it. You can go get a pizza, come back, listen to it. You can stream it on your TV, on your laptop. I mean, it's like, it's so interesting to me. It's almost kind of like, if you're interested in doing this and you're not adjusting to the live streaming world and live video, again, only if you're interested,
Right.
and this is something that you feel very adamant about, I think you're missing out. Because I think, as some other people have mentioned, and I know people like Gary Vee and that, I mean, it's headed in that direction, and it has been for a while. Let me ask you this, Ross, and Gord, you mentioned talk show style, and I think we kind of answered that, but I'd like to just move a little forward, Gord. Maybe we'll have a little bit of time at the end. The future of live streaming. So we've talked about how important it is. We've talked about how it's gaining steam, and how more and more people are doing this, and more news feeds are becoming pregnant with, live video and video in general. The future of live streaming. What are your thoughts? And I know none of us are futurists, or we can't predict with certainty, but what are your thoughts on where this is headed? And tell us a little bit about platforms too. Like, what type of platforms do you use, and which ones do you feel, maybe you get a little bit more value out of, or a little bit more viewership? Talk to us a little bit about that, if you will, Ross.
Sure. I think for platforms, Facebook Live is a great platform.
Hello.
You've got family, friends, followers, people who are part of your community and have opted into your liking your page or whatever it is, and so it's the easiest one to sort of start building an audience right away.
Right.
But it all depends on what you want to do. I would like to do more with YouTube. Honestly, I've used YouTube more like an archive.
Yeah.
But I went live from my desktop with Wirecast a couple times to do updates, and there was something cool. Like, I'm on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
YouTube's been around for more than a decade, and it's been where a lot of talented creators have made nicely produced videos and built the brand and stuff like that, and are selling things and making money with it and all that. And so just getting on there and kind of trying to figure it out and grow a community there and whatever would be really cool, or bring people over there and do some shows there.
It's also the second largest, right, search engine behind Google.
Absolutely.
So it's got that discoverability, which I think is almost kind of, I don't want to say, I don't like using big sort of, absolutes or extreme words, but, you're a lot of people, and I know you know this, Ross, but a lot of people have been talking about some of the sort of pitfalls of Snapchat is that discoverability and that ability to find, right, searchability for different broadcasters or live streamers or what have you, video creators. I mean, Snapchat's not live, at least yet. I don't know. I don't think it ever will go.
And the average person doesn't search Facebook like they search YouTube or Google, right?
Right.
You don't come to Facebook and you go, how do I fix my car engine? And then you hope to find a video that that's what people do on YouTube, right? And they go there, how do I do this? How do I do that? What is this? That kind of thing. They're always looking for advice and help and to learn something quickly from a free video. And so there's a lot of opportunity, I think, for both live streamers and for those videos after they're live, right? To live on.
They immediately get processed.
Text, SEO, all that stuff.
Right.
And so they have a life of their own, and they can become popular years down the line in a way that I don't know. Facebook does not organize the videos well. It's kind of a mess.
No,
once
it doesn't.
It's done, right?
No, it doesn't.
It falls down in the news feed.
Yeah,
you don't see it again.
Right
now, talking about different platforms, I love. Although I don't really use it very much myself, and maybe I will more. I love the fact. And again, this may not be a strategic decision by them. It may be a capability issue. But I love the fact that Instagram doesn't record. That
Interesting.
Going live on Instagram isn't about planning and promoting a show. It isn't about thinking, how is this going to look when it's repurposed? It isn't about not having dead air.
Right.
It isn't about having an agenda or keeping people necessarily tuned in. It's just a chance when I've gone live on it to just chat with, people I'm connected to and just enjoy the conversation for what it is. They can ask me anything. They can, we can deal with a topic until the energy dies, or, somebody come in with a new topic and we hop over there or whatever. It's just, for me, it's pure connection. It's ability to test some ideas and things like that. I don't use it that much, but I think
neither do I.
People can do some good things with that, whether they're doing it for business or they're doing it, just to stay connected or whatever. I love Busker, the new platform. It's been around about 10 months to a year. I love what they're doing. They're giving artists an opportunity to make some money performing, and they've built, some people have built big followings, but you can also sell products. You can sell goods and services. Things you can have, people put in their credit card information or whatever, or their swipe. I don't even know how that works, but
Stripe. I think it's Stripe. Yes,
Stripe. I'm sorry. They can purchase right while they're watching. They can give tips, or they can, give a donation or whatever to the person providing the information or the entertainment. But the ability to just go on and get to the point, right? We got something to sell. We're going to tell you about it. You're going to like this. Or to raise awareness, and if people are interested in buying, there's different paths that people are taking. Some people are very front and center with it. I'm here to sell this, and and other people are, I'm going to provide some value, and if you're interested, oh, by the way, there's this extra product on here and check it out or whatever. But I think it's great. I mean, I think it's
awesome.
Like could become the QVC of live streaming, right?
Beautiful. This is another topic I want to talk about. Is I don't know about you, Ross, but I literally, I mean, I work 24/7. I mean, I'm teaching like 10 courses a semester. I'm also doing all this stuff. I got wife, kids, mortgage. I cut my cable in half, if not, and I would cut it even more if my kids didn't like certain shows. I don't even watch TV anymore. I mean, I'm watching YouTube, I'm watching Facebook, I'm on my phone, my device. I literally, when I want to unwind, I plug in my earbuds, and I can get educated. I can go to learning platforms. I can get informed. Twitter is to me, I think Twitter is still a solid platform. I think a lot of people are really, castrating Twitter almost prematurely. That didn't sound good together. Castrating prematurely.
I didn't know whether to go there or not, but
What the? Professor Nez, have you lost your marbles? Yes. The answer is yes, Nez Nation.
I think you meant burying it. Right? It's still alive.
Wrong, as Jack Nicholson would say, wrong verb. So it's like I don't know about you, Ross, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and especially within the context of the future of live streaming. It's like, the quality of programming on television and cable, I think for about the last 10, 15 years, maybe even longer, has just diminished. Now, Netflix is a streaming service, right? My wife and I love Netflix. Black Mirror is, I don't know if you've heard that show before, Ross, Black Mirror, but it is just a kick-ass show on Netflix. And John Capos, thank you, John. Thank you for joining.
Hey, John.
Yeah. And, it's like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you still have cable, and do you watch a lot of cable, or do you find yourself less and less involved in that medium?
I have Fios now, which is sort of like cable. It's fiber optic connection. I have it for my internet. I have it for cable or TV or whatever you want to call Fios. Is
that an East Coast thing? I don't think I've heard of Fios.
Genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's through Verizon, and I haven't cut the cord.
I haven't cut the cord.
I can't say that I watch a ton. I watch sporting events sometimes live. Or sometimes DVR them and watch them later.
Right.
So I need my Yes Network so I can watch the Yankees.
Here we go.
I need my 15 ESPNs because one of them's usually doing the college basketball team that I like to watch. So other than that, I watch some news a little bit, but not that much. I don't really watch many regularly scheduled TV shows.
Yeah.
And if I do watch them, it's got to be something special, and like I DVR it or whatever, and then
what a great invention too DVR is. I tell my students, I go, you lucky bastards. If I had a DVR in my day, what a cool invention. I mean, right, Ross? I mean, I love the fact that you can record. I mean, I watch Shark Tank. I mean, that's a show that I kind of like to watch just because it kind of relates to the stuff I like. I think it's a very educational show, too. Gord says, my TVs are covered in dust. I need to cut out the cable and get even higher speed internet. I only watch Grand Slam tennis on TV. Bravo, Gord. I couldn't agree more. I save about $100 a month. We've basically trimmed down to basic cable. I'll watch the news in the morning when I have some coffee before I go to work. I'll watch the local news. But it's amazing how the power of streaming, live streaming, which is what this show is all about, has really usurped, and even kind of crowded a lot of the television medium in general, I think. And I think Netflix, I think Amazon, Netflix, and the Fire Stick, and all these things, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And correct me if I'm wrong, Ross, because I know you know this, but hasn't
Right.
Facebook now entertained some deals with introducing, and I don't think this is anything brand new, but introducing Facebook TV.
Yeah, they're working on some things with Facebook TV, and I know this. Some people sent me snapshots, screenshots, whatever, of one of my broadcasts, watching it on Apple TV on the big screen.
Are you shitting me? Wow.
So,
look who's famous.
you-
You're talking about not getting famous. The famous Ross Brand. He's on TV, folks. Professor Nez is still some schmuck on internet. No, I'm kidding.
No, this is probably on I mean, somebody could probably watch this now. It's like there's a Facebook Live app, I think, or
Let
a
me know
Facebook
if you're
app.
watching this on TV, guys. Gord, go turn on your TV for the love of God.
And take a picture of it.
Take
if
a
we are
picture
on,
of it and post it.
screen.
For crying out loud, I'll share it. Oh,
But
man.
so yeah, there's that. Like Periscope had that deal with Apple TV, and
Oh, yeah.
but
Twitter
that's
streams
just
sports, right? I mean, Twitter streaming sports, NFL games.
Oh yeah, Twitter. You can watch. Not only do they stream like 10 NFL games, but they're streaming live programming from
That's
Bloomberg
amazing.
and different stuff, and
It's
you can get
amazing.
certain sports channels or whatever. But Periscope, basically, when they were pushing stuff to Apple TV and still are, I think it's mainly like the high rank stuff. The stuff that gets the big stars of Periscope
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
And then I was talking to somebody who works for Roku at Summit Live, and she was saying that not many people know about this, but anybody could start their own channel on Roku and put their own videos and shows up there. So
You're kidding me.
that's kind of the next thing I'm going to take a look at.
Oh,
I don't even have
goodness.
Roku or anything.
I don't
But
either.
How cool
I don't either.
would it be to-
Hey,
to have
Zeph,
a-
how are you?
because-
Zeph is on the show. Thank you, Zeph, for watching.
Hey,
Wow.
Zeph.
That's amazing, Ross. I mean, and again, within the context of the future of live streaming, none of us know for certainty, and Ross certainly knows a mountain more than I do about this.
You keep giving me more credit than I deserve.
Well, I defer.
Nobody really knows where this is going.
Nobody
nobody
really knows. Thank you. Nobody really knows where this is going, and the point is, and let's kind of review a little bit if we may, and then I want Ross to talk about some things that he's doing, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of links to stuff that he's doing, some fabulous stuff, and he's got some interesting ideas and interesting products. It's about the people. So we've talked to Ross. It's about the people. It's about the connections. Live video is an intimate platform. If you have a message, if you have something to say, whatever context that is, whatever genre that is, right? I'm a writing professor. I like to I have motivational sort of nuances to the stuff that I do. I love talking about things that I'm passionate about, which is writing, communications, engagement, people, humanity, mindsets, things of that nature. And I have a platform. I mean, Ross is in New Jersey. Avery Ratz was in Israel. Gord is in, wherever the hell Gord is. Where are you, Gord? I think Gord's in Ontario. Yeah, Ontario, Canada. We both need to eat. Ross and I both need to eat. And when you have big dudes who are hungry, anything can happen, folks. Anything. This could get ugly fast. And so
I'll
it's
really regret going food shopping after this because I won't buy anything and it's in the store.
I remember George Carlin. Did a bit. The great George Carlin did a bit. He said the worst idea in the world is going grocery shopping when you're hungry. And he did this amazing bit where he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, pickled pigeon feet sounds great." Where you literally everything looks so damn good, and your grocery cart just looks like like you're some kind of looter in a riot, right? You've got all this food.
You start shopping like I might want that. Oh,
Exactly.
I might feel like that later, and the store will be closed.
What's for dinner anyway, Ross? What are you having for dinner?
You're acting like you're going off into the middle of the mountains, and there's like nothing nearby, and you've got to have.
It's
Like
doomsday.
the store's going to open the next morning at 8:00, and you can go back and get more.
Totally, it's like doomsday, right? It's like the Holocaust or something. It's you gotta stock
But because
up.
you're starving, you're thinking like, okay, there must be something like in our primitive brain or whatever from when we were starving and go hunting or whatever, and we got to kill the biggest beast out there or something, or pick the most berries because we don't want to be in a position of being berries.
Yeah. That's what I do for Nez Nation. That's what I do for my food. I go out to this trail and pick berries. Let's go. You know what? I'm going to do a Facebook Live.
I didn't want to not everybody's a meat eater, so it's
Look
2017.
At that.
Anything you say could offend somebody. So
Ross is catering to the audience. He's catering to every audience out there. Hey, you vegans. There's no vegans watching this. Trust me. If you're a vegan and watching this, I apologize. Okay. Go eat some meat. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. Todd is here. Hey, Todd. Good to see you. Todd Bergen just joined.
Hey, Todd.
Todd's in the house. Todd's going to be on the show again. I know that, Todd, right?
Awesome.
We actually did a show where he talked about Summit Live, and he talked about things he's doing, and the audio, because, again, here's living proof. Professor Nez is not a technical dude. If I can do this, Nez Nation, anybody can. I mean, it sounds bumper stickery, Ross, but I mean it with every fiber of my being. If this idiot can do this, trust me, everybody is fair game, right? So Todd and I actually did an episode, but the audio was completely jacked, which Gord helped me with. And Todd, we're going to do this again. I think it was actually a good thing because we were kind of rushed. My kid had a baseball game I had to get to, and it wasn't really as free-flowing as it is with Ross and I right now. Ross, are you having fun?
I'm having a blast. The look on my face doesn't say it. Because I just got a text message about something for a second and my head was there. But yeah, obviously you can tell I'm having a good time.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ross is headed to Ralph's right after this. Put on your serious face.
I'm having a blast.
Say it like, hey, Ross, do me a favor, Ross. Say it like you mean it, you bastard.
I'm having a great time.
This is awesome. This is so much fun.
Professor Nez. Always having a great time with Professor Nez. Check him out every day?
Every day.
Like 5 days a week?
5 days a week.
7 days a week?
7 days a week.
How often are you on?
Actually,
7 days a week.
This is what I need, structure. I mean, that's a good question, actually, Ross. I actually, I've been just getting guests on, and I've been promoting it like the day before, the day of. But I know for Livestream Universe, because I want to get on that, I know that you guys need an actual schedule. So I haven't, again, like I said, just as loose as this show is, and as much of a bozo as I am, I haven't, and Gord's been getting on me. I mean, Gord's been totally getting on me about this, and he's absolutely right.
About a schedule?
I got to get structured, man. I got to totally get structured. So I got to have a time, but my time is, and I know this sounds terrible, Nez Nation, my time is such a train wreck, and it's so rare for me to just, okay, here's a slot, right? When you have kids, Ross, I've got a 5-year-old, and I've got a 3-year-old, and I love them to death, but they drive me nuts. So anyway,
right.
So it's like anything can happen when you have literally you could be having a blast with Ross Brand. I could be in the ER in 5 minutes. I mean, it's that insane. Mm-hmm. It's hard. So anyway, that's excuses. I need to have a more structured schedule, and I will. Hey, Nez Nation, I'll get more organized. Yeah.
Send me the information by 5 p.m. Eastern on Saturday for the upcoming week, and we'll definitely get your show in. If you have a guest, let me know who the guest is and why they're on.
Absolutely. And by the way,
all you need.
Yeah, and anybody who's watching, I know Todd's here. I know Zeph is a broadcaster. I know Terry just had a broadcast today. Gord. Nez Nation says no more excuses. Great hour, gents. Thank you. Thank you, Gord. We're going to wrap up here very shortly. Ross, I had a complete blast with you. It's all about the people, and Ross is one of those people. I mean, Ross is just an absolute teddy bear, a total sweetheart with his time, very giving and altruistic. You're not going to meet a nicer dude in this space. Ross, tell us a little bit about, as we wrap the show up, tell us what you're doing, where we can find you. Tell us what's on Ross's plate, and anything you want to promote. We're all ears, sir. We're all ears.
Well, thanks so much for having me. We've been sort of connected for a while, but this is the first time we've had a chance to talk live. And
this is the first time, Nez Nation. This is the first time I've actually had a conversation. This
is groundbreaking stuff.
Our grandkids are going to look at this.
This will be in a museum one day, and people will say, this is the first time Ross and Peter talked, and then look where it went from there.
It's going to be in the hall of shame. What not to do in a live stream. Don't go on the Professor Nez show.
This will be in the Livestream Hall of Fame one day. Believe me. Believe me.
God, wouldn't that be great?
So what did you ask? Oh, what's coming up?
What the hell was my question? I don't know.
So every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, we have Livestream Stars showcasing talented broadcasters delivering high-quality content across Livestream platforms. Thursday night, we have a special edition of Livestream Stars, Amy Schmittauer, who has the book Vlog Like a Boss, and she's an expert on YouTube and video creation and monetization and all that stuff. So
Vlog Like a Boss.
Yes, she's coming back for a second interview about the book. I'm so excited to talk with her.
That's great.
Again and just go deeper on the topic and everything. The other thing is I'm working with Archon Mounts. We just had Aaron Roth on last night, who's the VP of Sales and Marketing and also one of the owners of the company. Great guy. The community just loves Archon. And I use Archon Mounts for my new webcam. I ordered their LED light.
I need to order some Archon mounts. Yeah.
You can use the coupon code ROSSBRAND, one word, not case sensitive, ROSSBRAND, and you can save 20% on all the products at Archon Mounts.
Absolutely.
Great tripods, great mounting solutions if you have multiple devices. If you have a single device, if you have a camera, if you have a mobile phone, whatever it is, you'll get better quality video. Your video will be stable. It'll be secure. And, the other thing is the lighting. Now they're getting into selling these ring lights. They're only like $14, plus you can save a little bit with the discount. I ordered one.
I need to get one of those. And also, by the way,
people at Summit Live went crazy.
People
for those.
At Summit Live went crazy.
I got around to buy one. They were all sold out of them. But I have one coming. You can put it on your phone. You can put it on your laptop, and instantly you've got good lighting for doing a broadcast.
I'm going to share all the links in the description. And by the way, thank you, Chris. Chris is in the house. Terry, Gord. Great show last night with Aaron. So I'm going to share all of these, Nez Nation. I'm going to share the links. I'm going to share all the information in the description. As soon as we're done broadcasting live, get that discount code. And I know Archon and Aaron has been in this game for a while as well, and he's created a fabulous product. Ross, continue. Sorry, go ahead.
And so the other thing is all my broadcasts are, all my live broadcasts are on Facebook Live. So you can just go to rossbrand.live, and that'll take you to the Livestream Universe Facebook page, rossbrand.live. And there'll be an update on there tomorrow. Might not be live because I have to travel tomorrow, but most of them are live. And
where are you headed to? Or is this for business or pleasure?
A little of both. I'm going to New York City tomorrow.
Cool. Oh, New York City.
I have some meetings, and then I'm going to meet up with a friend later.
Sounds really important. I've got some meetings.
I've got to lower my voice. I've got meetings.
All of a sudden, he turned into Mr. Mysterio. I have a few meetings in my underground cave, and we're going to be discussing things, and it's none of your business, Professor.
Yeah, exactly. That's the undertone, right?
That's it. No, I thought maybe you were doing a speech or something if you wanted to let the audience know. But yes, Ross is a busy dude, which is more reason, all seriousness, why. I mean, this dude is
nothing to promote tomorw.
Yeah, why this is
update.
Yeah, absolutely, and why he's such an awesome dude. I mean, look at all these people: Chris, Terry, Gord, everybody. A lot of people know Ross, and this is our very first conversation. And you know what's funny is after I talked to Todd Ross. And I told Todd, I said, dude, Ross agreed to be on the show. I said, we talked about it. We talked, are you nervous? And I said, you know what? I've watched Ross for a while now. I just feel like both of our personalities, I think we're just going to have a shit ton of fun. Like, he's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be fun. Like, I've watched you.
I'm insulted you weren't nervous.
This sounds this sounds kind of predatorial, but I've been watching you.
I'm not important enough for you to be nervous. Obviously, I've
been watching you, Ross Brand.
You should be very scared.
Very scared. Nez Nation.
A break-in event.
So
You didn't do well with Ross Brand. It's canceled.
it's canceled. Nez Nation, this is our last show. Nice to see you. Nice to have you. Thank you for watching. I'm going to be moving to Bermuda.
Been so much fun. I think, we talked about some serious subjects, but I'm sure we could just do a show one night where we just talk about whatever's on our mind and have some laughs.
Anytime, Ross. I am 1,000% down. That was the whole purpose of this show. I wanted to just literally just have fun and loose. But I love the fact that here's the thing, and really quickly, if I may, Ross. I know we're going overtime here. Ross said early in the broadcast, it's about the people. It's about interacting. And it's also about just keeping the conversation going. He said something really important when he said, I have segments, I have concepts, but I also listen to the person because the questions come from the conversation. And here's what's so interesting of my whole purpose for this show is I want this to be as natural as most conversations are. You know, those really, really good conversations, those awesome, unlike this one. Those really good no, I'm teasing. Look at Ross.
What were you saying?
What were you saying?
Were you talking? I don't know.
Ross is thinking about pastrami sandwiches right now.
I give people advice to listen. Doesn't mean I actually listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ross is checked out. Please
you're
leave
from the East Coast. You listen until you need to say something, and then you cut the person off and say it, right?
Exactly. That's a good title for a book, Ross. So, I mean, it's...
No, go on. I think you were making a good point.
Was I making a good point? Okay, hold on. Let me try to get back to it. But, I mean, I try to keep it as natural as possible, as flowing as possible, because all the amazing conversations that I've ever had, okay, I'm 41 years old, all the amazing conversations that I've always had, never, ever had this sort of premeditated, pre-planned... Not to say that strategy is not important. Obviously, you want to schedule, and I need to be more structured. Ross gives the thumbs up on that. But keep it as natural and flowing and fluid as possible. That's my goal. And Ross, you have exemplified that to a T, my friend, to a T.
Oh, thank you. I had a great time, and
dude, awesome.
I'd love to do this again when you are even bigger star, and this is taking off, and you're under the bright lights and all that, and you've got like a green room, and you've got people handing you things, and you don't even have to prepare. They just hand you a list of questions that your researcher has done, and
I can have.
I
don't even have to be sober. There
have been people who've done it that way for quite some time. We will mention that.
It's funny, and I want to also let you know, Ross, that in that green room there will be sandwiches. You won't go hungry on my show.
Excellent. And I will partake.
Yes.
I will definitely clean up the room.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Well, this has been more than I could have asked for, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Terry, everybody, Chris, Gord, Steve, Zeph, all of you guys, thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank our guest, the incomparable Ross Brand. What a sweet gesture to be on the show and provide some real...
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Nez Nation, I'm going to leave all the links in the description. You're going to know where to find Ross, the Archon products as well, with the coupon code, which is a really good deal, 20%. I mean, those Archon mounts are not super expensive to begin with, so and it's a high quality product. There was a huge rave at Summit Live, which Summit Live is a great conference for everything live video, specifically live video. And so I'm going to include all that in the description. And again, I want to thank Ross, thank everybody for watching, and we will see you guys next time on Nez Nation Live. Thank you so much, guys. Really, really appreciate it. And we are out.